को खोलते हैं तथा मेरे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान भरते हैं। जन्म जन्मांतर वे मेरे प्रभु हैं। वे प्रेमा भक्ति प्रदान करते हैं और अविद्या का नाश करते हैं। वैदिक शास्त्र उनके चरित्र का गान करते हैं। हे श्रील प्रभुपाद करुणा सिंधु तथा पतित आत्माओं के मित्र, आप सबके गुरु एवं सभी लोगों के जीवन हैं। हे श्रील प्रभुपाद मुझ पर दया कीजिए तथा मुझे अपने श्री चरणों की छाया प्रदान कीजिए। आपका यश तीनों लोकों में फैला हुआ है। कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
माधव कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बन साधी यमुना तीर बन साधी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर बन साधी यमुना तीर बन साधी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी भगवान की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण को गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। और ग्लोरी टू द और ग्लोरी टू द थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thus consciously engaged in devotional service in the association of devotees, a person gains distaste for sense gratification, both in this world and in the next, by constantly thinking about the activities of the Lord. This process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power. When one is actually situated on that path of devotional service, he is able to control the mind.
भक्त्या पुमान जात विराग इंद्रिया दृष्ट सुतान मत रचना चिंतया चित्तस्य जत्तु ग्रहणे योग युक्त ज्योतिषते ऋजुभि योग मार्ग. So the whole process of understanding the absolute truth means the Supreme Person, the Supreme Being. Absolute, there is no contradiction. Krishna and Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's activities, Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's attributes, everything Krishna. That is called absolute truth. There is no difference. Krishna and Krishna's form is not different. Krishna's hand and Krishna's leg not different. Just like we have got difference. This left hand is different from the right hand. The nose is different from the ear. We have got, because this is called Sagata Vigata Vivek. Krishna hasn't got that thing. That is called absolute. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Angani Jassa Sakalindriya Vittimanti. Angani, we have got different parts of the body, limbs, for different purposes. But Krishna can serve any purpose from any limbs of his body. Krishna can eat by seeing only. Krishna can go by thinking only. There are so many descriptions that Krishna is absolute. So, these contradictory things, how one can understand of the absolute? Is absolute Advaita. Absolute means no duality. Everything is one. So viraga, bhakta kumana jato viraga andriya. Here our material disease is that we want to satisfy our sense. This is material life. The whole material civilization is going on. We have repeatedly said advancement of civilization means advancement of sense gratification. That's all. So, bhakti means just the opposite. So long we are very much interested in sense gratification, there is no question of bhakti. That is not possible. So we have to reduce the tendency for sense gratification by increasing our devotional activities. That is the problem. Therefore it is said, Bhakta Pumana Jato Viraga. Viraga from where? Viraga means distasteful. Virakti. The other word is virakti. No, I don't like. That is called viraga. Raga means attachment and B means bigata. Bigata raga. And from viraga, vairagya. Jnana vairagya. This is one thing. Human life is meant for jnana and vairagya. Two things required. We are continuing this material existence on account of raga, attachment. Attachment for sense gratification. That is the cause of material bondage. Material bondage means, I have explained several times, to accept one body, then create another body. We have got now this human form of body, and according to our, affection or infection to different qualities of the nature, we are creating another body. So, in this way, we are entangled. So, unless we become viraga, oindriya, sense gratification, these different changes of body are being possible on account of sense gratification. Nature or God or Krishna will give me full facility. Just like in the Western countries especially, they are now trying to become naked, nudie. So, nature will give them to stand naked like a tree or tree for many years. You are so fond of become nudie, all right, you stand up here for 10,000 years without any dress. Nature will give it. Those who have no discrimination for eating anything, damn rascal, let me give me, I will eat it. All right, then you can take the body of a pig and eat up to stool. So nature will give it. Karanam gunasangasya prakite krimanani gunai karmani sarvasa karanam gunasangasya sadasad joni janmashu. Why you are getting different bodies? Because you have got different tendency for sense gratification. Indriya. This is the disease, material disease. Everyone has got tendency for sense gratification, but not all of them are the same type. They have got different types. So our material bondage means these different types of sense gratification. Therefore, we have to stop this. We have to be detachful from this sense gratification, then our spiritual life will begin. That is possible by bhakti. Therefore here it is said, Bhakta jata viraga. Bhakti is so powerful that if you engage yourself in the bhakti marga or bhakti yoga, here it is said, Rijubhi yoga marga. Rijubhi means very easy to perform. How? Now, drishta sutan mad bachanam chintaya. Drishta, you can see Krishna. Krishna is kind enough. Although Krishna is beyond our vision, we cannot see with these eyes Krishna. But Krishna has agreed to be seen by you or by us. How? He has assumed this Archa Vigraha. Krishna, this Vigraha, don't think it is stone. Even it is stone, you think. But Krishna can become visible before you like a stone, because you cannot see beyond stone. That is Krishna's mercy. Because your eyes or senses are so imperfect that you cannot see Krishna present everywhere in its original spiritual. We have got difference between spiritual and material. We have got. Because we are imperfect. But Krishna has no such distinction because he is absolute. He can become spiritual, he can become material as he likes. That does not make any difference of Krishna. Then how Krishna is almighty, all powerful. He can change matter into spirit, spirit into matter. That is Krishna. So don't think that as the atheist class men, they think that they are worshipping an idol. Even it is an idol, it's still Krishna. That is absolute. That is absolute nature of Krishna. Even you think it is stone, it is metal, it is wood, still he is Krishna. So, how he is Krishna, that will require your bhakti. Here it is said, bhaktya, anuchintaya. If you are thoughtful, if you are philosopher, and plus bhakti, then you will understand that even Krishna is present here just like a stone. The stone is also Krishna. How stone is also Krishna? The Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumirapo analo vayu khangamano buddhiriva. Bhinna me prakriti ashtadha. Me prakriti. It is my nature. Bhinna me prakriti ashtadha. So stone is another formation of earth. Earth, water, air, sky, mind, intelligence, they are all Krishna. Because Krishna says, Bhinnami prakriti asudha. That's all right, get up. Nothing is different from Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. The Mayavadi philosopher, they think that because everything is God, everything is Krishna, then where is Krishna? Krishna is finished. But actually that is not. Krishna is Krishna, at the same time he is everything. That is Krishna. That we can understand by bhakti. Therefore it is said, bhaktya. Bhakta in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, bhaktya mam abhijanati. These things can be understood not by ordinary person, without any devotion. The one who is bhakta, he can understand that Krishna is everything and everything is Krishna. Krishna is everything, that is drishta. When a bhakta sees a tree, he sees Krishna. That is bhakta's vision. It is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sthavar jangam dakhe, na dakhe tar murti. Sarvatra spuraye tar ishtadev murti. A devotee, sthavar jangam. Sthavar means which cannot move, just like tree. It cannot move. Or a mountain. it does not move. And Jangam means moving. Just like we are moving, animals are moving, and so many other living entities are moving. So, an advanced devotee, he sees both of them, this standing, immovable and movable. But he does not see immovable and movable, he sees Krishna. There is another statement in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayan. Sadaiva means always. Sadaeva. Sadaiva. Who sees? The one who is devotee, one who is fully absorbed in love of God, Premanjana Churita, or whose eyes are anointed with love of God. Not this eye. Premanjana Churita Bhakti, that Bhakti required. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochane, Santa, saintly person, Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. That is the position of Sant. Always seeing Krishna. He does not see anything else except Krishna everywhere. But in everything, everywhere, the energy of Krishna. I will give you a practical example. If you love your child, if you see the shoe of the child, immediately you see your child. If you see the toy of your child, you see your child immediately. If you hear the voice of your child, immediately you see the child. This is practical. Similarly, if you have actually developed love of Krishna, and Krishna has explained that everything is expansion of his energy. Therefore, nothing exists except Krishna. And if you have developed your love for Krishna, whatever you see, you will see Krishna. That is called Bhaktya. Bhaktya, Drishta and Shruta. Shruta means Vedic literature, Shruti. You hear from authentic literature. Just like in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vritka lakha britetu surabhi ravipalayantam. Now, apart from Brahma Samhita, we have heard, devotees have heard, that Krishna in Vrindavan used to go with his cowherd boy's friend in the pasturing ground. So hundreds and thousands of devotees are there in Vrindavan. They have not seen, but they have heard. They have not practically seen, but they have heard only. And they have seen the picture of Krishna with his boys, cowherd boys, the gopi friends. So, a devotee can see and hear and immediately realize Krishna. That is possible. Because he has developed love. Premanjana Churita. Unless one is advanced in Krishna prem, love of Krishna, he cannot see, he cannot understand. There is another verse in the Srimad, Atas Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indriyai. These blunt senses, by these blunt senses, even we cannot understand what is the name of Krishna, why these people are chanting Hare Krishna. We cannot understand. Atas Sri Krishna Nam, because Krishna realization begins from the name. Therefore, name, Krishna's name and Krishna is not different, absolute. But we cannot realize. But the practice, if you practice chanting Hare Krishna, then you realize. Sevanamukhi hi jivbhado sameva spurattava. When you actually, in devotional attitude, chant Hare Krishna mantra, therefore it is advised that you should avoid the offenses in chanting. Then you, by simply chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you realize. Atasya Krishna namadi nabhave grayam indriyai sevanamukhi hi jivhado. Jivhado. Now Krishna bhakti begins from jivha, from the tongue. People will be surprised. How is that? Yes. You can utilize your tongue simply by chanting and tasting Krishna prasad. Then you will become Krishna bhakti. Therefore it is so easy. Susukham kortumambam in the Bhagavad Gita. Susukham kortumambam. To execute devotional service, it is very easy. And susukham, very nice and pleasing also. Just like this chanting and dancing. Even the child takes pleasure. What to speak of others? Others may be sophisticated, but a child is not sophisticated. When there is dancing and chanting, a child comes in front and he dances. Unless he feels pleasure, how does he do it? This is practical. He has not been taught, but he comes. As soon as he comes, he also takes part with the elderly person, chanting and dancing. And if you give him prasadam, he will also accept. Anyone will accept. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Susukham and Kortum Abhayam. Kortum Abhayam. Abhayam means whatever little service you render, that is permanent settlement. If you come here and dance and chant or ring the bell or anything about the Aratri, if you see Drishta, anything you do, that is your permanent credit. Therefore, for the common man, this chance is given. This temple is meant for that purpose, that people will come see the deity. The deity is Krishna. Don't think otherwise. Krishna has agreed to be dressed by you. If you think of Krishna about his Virat roop, so you will fail to bring dress for that Virat roop. His head is on the sky, his another leg is on the pata. That is also true. But you cannot conceive of Krishna in his Virat Rupa and at the same time dress him and give him something to eat. That is not possible. Therefore, Krishna has become so merciful. Here, of course, the deity is very big, not very big. In Hyderabad, we have got 3 times bigger deity. But you can have a small deity. Many Vaishnavas, they carry deity with them, a small deity in a small box, and they worship. So Krishna ano aniyan mahato mahiyan. He can become bigger than the biggest and the smaller than the smallest. That is Krishna. So, real thing is bhakti. Bhakta, that's what is there. Bhakta kumana jato. And the more you serve Krishna, you give Krishna feet, you give Krishna to be dressed nicely, then you will forget dressing of yourself. Now see, these devotees, they are dressing Krishna so nicely They are satisfied with that dressing of Krishna. They are not very much busy for dressing themselves. This is Bhakti Yoga. Beloved, everyone is very busy how to dress himself very nicely so that he may be attractive. But if you try to dress Krishna nicely, then you will forget yourself how to dress nicely. Is it not practical? Anyone will ever. These Vaishnavas, these boys, they are young boys, the girls, they don't care for their dress because they are dressing Krishna. This is the way. You dress Krishna nicely, you give Krishna a nice food stuff, then you forget. So I will have to satisfy my tongue in this way and that way. By chop, by cutlet, by going to restaurant. You forget. Therefore it is called Bhakta Manajata Viraga India. The materialistic persons, they are simply busy for satisfying the senses. Go to the hotel, satisfy the tongue, go to the cinema, hear the cinema song, see nice girls, and so on, so on. But these devotees, they are not interested at all. The cinema is here, a few steps away, but you never see a student or a disciple of Krishna consciousness will go to that nonsense place. Practically, you can see. How it has become possible? Bhakta Pumana Jata Viragandi. It's practical. The more you engage yourself in devotional service, the more you will forget your sense gratification process. And as soon as you become completely detestful for sense gratification, then you are a liberated person, fit for going back to home, back to home. This is the process. So, bhakti gives you chance to see Krishna, as you can see now. Or this seeing or any other kind of seeing, they are the same thing. There is no difference. When Arjuna was seeing Krishna face to face, Krishna was teaching Bhagavad Gita, that seeing of Krishna, and when you read Bhagavad Gita, it is the same thing. There is no difference. Somebody, they say that Arjuna was fortunate enough to see Krishna face to face and take instruction. That is not correct. Krishna, he can be seen immediately, provided you have got eyes to see. Therefore it is said, Premanjana Churita, Prema and Bhakti the same thing. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santa Sadayaridayesu Viloka. I will recite one story in this connection, that one Brahmin in South India, in Ranganath temple, he was reading Bhagavad Gita and he was illiterate. He did not know neither Sanskrit nor any letter, illiterate. So the people neighborhood, they knew that this man is illiterate and he is reading Bhagavad Gita. He is opening Bhagavad Gita like that. Yes. So somebody was joking. Well, Brahmin, how you are reading Bhagavad Gita? He could understand that this man is joking because I am illiterate. So, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also happened to be that day in the Ranganath temple, and he could understand that here is a devotee. So, he approached him and he asked, "My dear Brahman, what you are reading?" So, he could also understand that this man is not joking. So he said, "Sir, I am reading Bhagavad Gita, I am trying to read Bhagavad Gita, but I am illiterate. So, my Guru Maharaj said that you must read 18 chapters daily. So, I have no knowledge, I cannot read. Still Guru Maharaj said, so I am just trying to carry out his order and opening the pages, and that's all. I do not know how to read it. Chaitanya Maharaj said that you are crying sometimes, I see. Then yes, I am crying. How you are crying if you cannot read? No, because when I take this Bhagavad Gita book, I see one picture that Krishna is so kind that he has taken the chariot driver, Sarathi of Arjuna. He is his devotee. So Sri Krishna is so kind that he can accept the position of a servant because Arjuna was ordering, keep my chariot here, and Krishna was serving him. So Krishna is so kind. So when I see this picture within my mind, I am crying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced him. That you are reading Bhagavad Gita. Without any education, you are reading Bhagavad Gita. He embraced him. So this is how he was seeing the picture. Because he was a lover of Krishna. It doesn't matter, he could read these slokas or not, but he was absorbed in love of Krishna, and he was seeing Krishna was sitting there, and he was driving the chariot of Arjuna. This is required, not that education. Bhaktanam abhijanati, Krishna says, not by passing MA, PhD. Bhakta, simply by bhakti. Bhaktanam abhijanati javan jaschami tattvata. And bhakta, the practical example, if you become pure bhakta, then you'll forget all this material sense enjoyment. Bhakti parishano bhava virakti annatra sya. This is the taste of bhakti. That if you have got taste for material enjoyment, and at the same time you advertise yourself that you have become a bhakta, that is not bhakta. One who knows who is a bhakta immediately detects that here is not a bhakta. A dharmadhaji, he has got the tilak and kanthi simply for advertisement. He is not a bhakta because he has got material taste. So the bhakti means bhaktya pumana jata viraga indriya. From indriya, this word has come, indriya, pertaining to indriya. Everyone in this material world is engaged in sense gratification. That is the only, the cats, dogs, so-called civilized man simply nunam pramatta kurute vikarma, doing all kinds of sinful activities. Why? Jat indriya pritaya aprinoti, simply for sense gratification. Simply for sense gratification. This is material world. And spiritual world means there is no question of sense gratification. Simply they want to satisfy Krishna. That is spiritual world. Just like Vrindavan. What is the picture of Vrindavan? Vrindavan means there Mother Jasoda, Nanda Maharaj, the Radharani, the Gopis, the cowards, boys, Siddham, Sudham, the land, the water, the tree, the birds, everyone is trying to satisfy Krishna. That is Vrindavan. Vrindavan means nothing. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, all of them become dead. That is Vrindavan. Similarly, you can live always in Vrindavan, always in Vaikuntha, if you are mad after Krishna. That was the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By his practical example, he showed when he was in Jagannath Puri, he was mad always, day and night. Last 12 years of his life was passed in madness. Sometimes he was falling down on the sea, sometimes somewhere, sometimes day and night, just like that. So, of course, that is not possible, but that is Sunnaitam jagat sarvam. When you will find everything vacant, Govinda virahena me, without Govinda. That is the highest stage of devotion. But that is possible. That is possible that bhaktya pumana jat viragoindriya dishta sutam mad rachananu chintaya. If you become a bhakta, you will find anything creation. You will find Krishna's intelligence. If you take one flower and see the constitution, how this flower is made, how the color is displayed, how it has come into existence. If we are intelligent, we can see Krishna's Rachananachinta. How Krishna has created intelligently. That is Premanyanachita. Actually it is created by Krishna. Parasa Shakti Bhivudaiva Sriyate. Don't think like rascal. It has come out automatically. Right? Does thing come out automatically? Why not your luchi, puri and everything comes automatically? Why you have to take so much trouble? No, automatically. It has Krishna's hand, but you cannot see. You cannot see. But those who are learned, they can see. Parasa Shakti Vividaiva Sriyate. Sabhavikit Jnana. This is the Vedic instruction. Everything, in every creation, there is hand of the Supreme Lord. Ishavassamidam sarvam. But one who has got eyes to see, he can see Krishna. Anuchinta, by thinking, by thoughtful, not like rascal. It has come automatically. Why? Nothing comes automatically. How it comes automatically? That is rascal. It has come through the intelligence of Krishna. But his power is so fine and so accurate that sabhaviki jnana balapyat. If you paint one picture of flower, you will have to arrange for so many things. Still it will not be perfect. And this flower has come so perfectly. Does it mean there was no brain behind it? You nonsense. There is brain. And Krishna says that maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sachacharam. Don't think Prakriti, nature is working automatically. No. Under my direction. So one has to eye. One has to develop that eye. Premanjana churita bhakti vilachanana. Then one can see how things are going on. That is required. Bhaktya. Bhaktya pamana jata viraga andriya. This is not possible. So as you engage your indriyas, senses in the service of Krishna, so it is very easy that first of all you engage your tongue, chant Hare Krishna and eat Bhagavat Prasad, you will become perfect. Nothing, no other things required. That we are doing. We are distributing prasadam and engaging people, chant Hare Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Thank you.
Thus constantly engaged
for more. He said, please bring me more of those crispy apples. And after we heard the story, we realized that apple crumble was now bona fide and fit to be eaten by devotees. So then apple crumble became a dessert that was served at practically every feast.
So our process of knowledge we should take from the Supreme Authority. Then we save time for research work. That is Krishna consciousness movement. We take perfect knowledge from Krishna. I may be imperfect, just like child is imperfect. I may be imperfect, you may be imperfect. But if you take the perfect knowledge from the Supreme Perfect, then your knowledge is perfect. That is the process. This is called avarohopantha, knowledge coming, deductive knowledge. So everything is there, and if you like to take advantage of this movement, make your life perfect, go back to home, back to Godhead, then fully utilize this center, our Melbourne center, come here, read our books and argue, try to understand with your full knowledge, no blindly acceptance. There is reason, there is argument, there is philosophy, there is science, everything is there. And if you accept that simply by chanting I shall realize, that is also allowed. Both ways. If you accept this simple process, the chant Hare Krishna and realize God, that is also fact. And if you think what is this nonsense chanting Hare Krishna, then you read books. Both ways we are prepared. Come and take advantage of this moment. Thank you very much.
So Prabhupada, we understand in the scriptures that Lord Brahma rides on a swan, Hamsa. Is this, we take this to mean that it's a real swan, or is it something symbolic?
Not symbolic, it is fact. Why do you say symbolic?
It's rather unusual.
Unusual, what experience you have got? You have no experience. Have you got any experience of other planetary system? What is there? Then your experience is very teeny. So you should not calculate Brahma's life and other things by your teeny experience. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that the duration of life of Brahma, Sahasra Yuga Parjantam Arahajat Brahmano Vidu. Now Brahma's life, it is stated in the Shastra. We have already explained that we accept the authoritative statement of Shastra. Now Brahma's life is stated there. Arahat means his one day is equal to our 4 yugas. 4 yugas means 4,300,000 years, and multiply it by 1,000. Sahasra Yuga Parjantam, Sahasra means 1,000. And Yuga means the 4,300,000 years makes a Yuga. And multiply it by 1,000. That period is Brahma's one day. Similarly, he has got one night. Similarly, he has got 1 month. Similarly, he has got 1 year. And such 100 years he will live. So how you can calculate? How it is within your experience? You think something mysterious? No. Your experience is nothing. Therefore, you have to take experience from the perfect person, Krishna. Then your knowledge is perfect. That I have already said. Don't try to understand with your teeny experience everything. Then you will be failure.
When one gets to serve Krishna virtually.
That I have already explained. That you are coming here, even though you are not initiated, there is also service. So, if you deposit 1 cent daily, one day it may become $100. So when you get the $100, you can get the business. So you come here daily, 1 cent, 1 cent. When it will be $100, you will become a devotee. So this is not wasted. It is that is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krita punna punya. Krita punna. Krita means done. And Sukadeva Goswami is describing when Krishna was playing with his cowherd boy's friends. So he was describing that these cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna, they have not come to this position in one day. Kritapurna Punja, after life, having performed pious activities, now they have come to this position, that they are allowed to play with the Supreme.
This person who's listening, they're suffering, when they actually, when they say that they're happy and they're not afraid to die.
Someone who is not afraid to die and says that he's not suffering.
He's a madman. Who is caring for madmen?
It's very easy to convince some people that they're not their bodies. It's not very easy to convince them that they're not their minds. Is there some way we can explain?
That will take time. How can we expect? In 1 minute everyone will understand everything. It requires education, time. If he is prepared to give the time, then he will understand. Not that within 5 minutes, 10 minutes he will understand the whole thing. That's not possible. He is a diseased man. He requires treatment, medicine, and diet. In this way he will understand. A diseased man, if he doesn't care for medicine, diet, then he will suffer. That's all. Yes?
We've been here lifetime after lifetime performing impious activities. Well, does it mean that we have to be here lifetime after lifetime performing pious activities to balance our sinful reactions? Yeah.
We have been here for many lifetimes performing sinful activities. So is it possible to counteract all those sinful activities in one lifetime, or does it require many
1 minute. That is Krishna consciousness. 1 minute. You are not reading Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna said? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam saranam bhaja aham ta sarva papebhya mokshayami. You surrender to me, give up your all business. I will give you relief from all sinful reactions immediately. It becomes 1 minute. My dear Krishna, I was forgotten, now I understand, I fully surrender to you. And you become immediately free from all sin. Without any reservation, without any politics. If you fully surrender, Krishna is assuring, aham tva sarva papi mokshayami ma sucha. He reassures. Don't worry whether I will be able to give you relief from all reactions. Ma sucha. It is guaranteed. You do this. So, how much time it requires to surrender to Krishna? Immediately you can do that. Mami Vaishnasi, Asangsa. Then you come to me without any doubt. Everything is there. Krishna has given everything fully. If you accept it, then life is very simple. There is no difficulty. Yes?
How long do you say it is before Krishna comes to this planet again in physical in human form?
Now calculate, I have already given the duration of 1 day, 12 hours of Brahma. Means 4,300,000 years multiplied by 1,000. What it comes?
4,300 million.
No.
4 billion.
Oh, difference of opinion.
In Australia, they calculate different.
Anyway, what is your Australian calculation? Let me know.
Their billion is something else.
Anyway, I give you the right figure. 4 million, according to American and English calculation. 4,300,000 years. And multiply it by 1,000. Then what it comes according to English calculation?
4,300,000,000. 4,300,000,000.
That is 12 hours. And add again 12 hours night. Then 8 billion.
600 million.
So Krishna comes after this period. In one day, after one day, a Brahma, he appears.
But does the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appear every
Yes, following Krishna. Krishna comes in the Dapur Yuga. After finishing his business in this universe, he goes to another universe. In this way, the rotation takes 9 billion years. He stays in one universe for 125 years. Everything is a calculation in this Shastra. Now we can imagine how many universes are there. That is altogether material world. That is stated in the Athava Bahunaitina Kingatina Savajna Vishtabhya Aham Idam Kristam Ekangsina Sthitu Jagat. This material creation is 1/4 creation of the whole God's property.
At this time in Melbourne, there were two groups of devotees. There were those who were living in the temple, and there were those that were known as the outside devotees. I'm not even sure that we were that respectful as calling them devotees, but we felt that if they weren't living in the temple, they were not qualified to be devotees. We had a rather limited perspective of things. But amongst these devotees that were living outside, there were those who had broken away from ISKCON, and they'd concocted their own philosophy. And at the end of this evening class, some of their doubts were brought up at question time. Baba very kindly allowed us to have some very lengthy question and answer periods at the end of these classes. One boy who was in this circle asked Prabhupada, he said, "Can you take initiation by accepting the spiritual master in your heart without actually taking?" And Prabhupada cut him off and said that these are all bogus propositions. He said, "It has no meaning. If you think in yourself that I'm eating," he said, "will you be satisfied?" He said, "You actually have to eat to be satisfied. If you just simply imagine that you've eaten, you will not satisfy your appetite," indicating that you have to physically take initiation from the spiritual master, not just take initiation in the heart. This, he said, was bogus.
At the end of the lectures, he would stop at the temple doorway, and I'd put his slippers on his feet, and he would allow me to pick him up, and he'd put his arm around my shoulder, and I'd carry him up the stairs in Deng Street. Sometimes he would give me little comments on the way, just the two of us could hear. Other times he'd be very sober, but all the time, once we got past the doorway, I would get a little jovial comment of some sort. But the amazing thing was, I always never, ever forgotten this point, that it always seemed to me as though he was weightless. There was no weight there at all. I could walk up the stairs with him easy, with just holding him, carrying him up. It was amazing how weightless he was.
We were sitting